Welcome back everyone to another episode of Swing Shift Trades. Just a reminder, my name's Matt and I've been trading for around 4 years, coming from a background of absolutely zero knowledge up to being a profitable trader. So this channel is aimed at beginners. It's aimed at those of you who are interested in trading, don't know really where to start, and want to learn things as quickly as possible to give yourselves a shot at being a competent trader. So if you come to this channel as a beginner, hoping to improve your skills, then you've come to the right place. So the topic of today's video is an important one, and that is, how do you choose your stocks to trade? So just a little more background here. So I do trade in stocks and shares, and there's a reason for that. Here in the UK, you can trade stocks and shares through a tax-free vehicle called an ISA. So that's why I trade in stocks and shares at the moment. That might change in the future. And what you might also be interested to know is what kind of trader I am. I'm a swing trader, so that means you look at these oscillations in the price action over time. So you take typically less trades than you do with a day trading approach. If you're an absolute beginner, you will not know what any of that means, but don't worry, you're in the right place. In subsequent videos, we're going to talk exactly about that, as how to build a strategy. And you might want to have a swing trading strategy. It's a good one for beginners, in my opinion. So I don't want to repeat myself too much. If you are brand new and you want to get into this trading game, then do look at my previous videos on expectations, a bit about the software, how to place a trade, and now we're moving on to what stocks to pick. How do I actually choose the stocks to trade? And picking those stocks is just part of a process. You might actually want to know how to put it on your watch list within that charting software so that you can keep track of those stocks and, really importantly, find the right time to take action on those stocks. So if you're interested in that, then I think this video will be really useful for you. Right, so let's get cracking, shall we? So let's hop over to the charting software. For those who are beginners, I use the charting software called TradingView. So go back and check that video out if you need help with your charting software or choosing a charting software. And that should bring you a bit up to speed about the basics of what you see here. Let's just move my ugly mug down here so that you can have a better view of some of the icons that we'll be using. The first thing of interest on this chart is you'll see something called the watch list. You can activate this or not, or make it disappear by pressing the tab on the top right here. So it just opens this window. And there are other options you can choose on here, but really we're just looking at the watch list for the moment. Let's keep it simple. So what you can see on this watch list is that I already have a number of stocks that are on there. So I've got Butterfly, Open Door. So these are already on my watch list. So what that means is that I've identified these as stocks of interest. So I'm very aware that we haven't really touched on the strategy yet. So that's for the next video. Really important. We're going to start to develop a strategy. So just for completeness sake, I am something called a swing trader. So I look for these oscillations going up and down and up and down and up and down, and hoping to catch either a bounce off support and resistance with the help of trend lines as well. So we'll go into that in a lot more detail in future videos, developing a strategy. Really important. So really in this episode, we're all about identifying stocks that might be of interest and then putting it onto the watch list. So I'm going to talk you through all that. Now, before we start, there's something important about picking stocks, and that is any experienced trader will have a different method of picking their stocks. So if you walked into a room with 100 experienced traders, it's pretty much guaranteed that most of them will have a different process for choosing their stocks. So it's completely linked to your individual trading strategy. So there isn't one method fits all. So that's the first point. So what I'm going to do in this video is really take you through my strategy, and with a couple of tweaks for beginners, because it's important as you're going through this process to understand how to pick a stock. So before we go into how to actually pick stocks, I'll just show you what's already on my watch list. So I've got, 6 here at the moment. Let's pick the first one here, So the abbreviation is up here. But what you can see is I'm a swing trader, so we'll go more into this as we go on. But what I'm really looking for is this oscillation going up and down and up and then down and up and down and up and down. And we're trying to catch that swing, hence the name swing trader. So any stocks that I search for, I'm really looking for this oscillation. I also use trend lines as well, but again, we'll go into this strategy in the next episode. It's important, but we're dealing just with choosing stocks at the moment. So I've got another one here, and you can see this theme. So these are the stocks of interest, and this one is CLNN. You can see again, I'm looking for this oscillation. So that's the stocks that I'm looking for. Again, here's another stock. It's oscillating. It's gone up. It's gone down. It's gone up. It's gone down. It's gone up. Gone down and up. Looks like it's on this uptrend here. So that's a stock of interest. And just one more. Once you get used to looking at these charts, it's almost boringly simple. But again, the first stage is again, I'm looking for this oscillation over time, up and down. And I'm on the 4-hour chart doing this. On the swing trading strategy I sort of use the 4-hour as a base chart, although I might work around the different time frames on that. So if you're wondering what all these markups here, this rectangular lines, I've really talked through that at the previous video, and that's marking up the charts and getting used to the software. If you haven't seen that, please do take a look at the previous video. It's worth your time if you're a beginner. Right, so the question you're probably going to ask is, okay, that's great. I think I've got an idea of this watch list and what you're looking out for, but how do I get the stocks to this watch list? How do I choose them specifically? So that's an important question, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So from this base chart, you'll see, if you go up here, you'll see this tab, this plus sign. So if you press that, a new tab will open. And what will come up, the title will be Super Charts. But what you're really after, or what we're after, is this tab here, Screeners. And if we click on this, we're interested in stocks at the moment. You've got other options for screeners, ETFs, bonds, crypto coins, etc. But we're really interested in looking at the stocks at the moment. So press that tab. And hey presto, here we have a stock screener. Now, before we carry on, I'll just mention there are many screeners that you can have access to or buy. For example, FinViz is a really popular one. Also, this one is in TradingView. So I use the inbuilt stock screener in TradingView. Here we go. So again, if you're a beginner, you're going to look at this and you're probably going to have a heart attack going, what is going on here? But like everything in life, if we just break it down, it becomes simple. So if we come down here, what we've got are the stocks. All these down here, and you can scroll down. So you have a nice choice here. There are hundreds of stocks you can choose from. So what a screener does is bring to the forefront those stocks that you're interested in. So what it would do, it will take into account all the stocks and then screen those out that meet your criteria. Just the point here is, what are those criteria? And this goes back to, if you ask 100 traders, they will have 100 different criteria depending on their strategy. So all what I'm going to do here is just show you what I do, and that will give you a baseline to work from so that when you build up your experience, you can modify it as you see fit. So here we go. So we've just talked, we've got all these companies down here. And what you can see there are a series of columns. So we've got price here, we've got performance in the past week, performance 3 months, performance 1 month, it's gone to 3 to 1. It's got the change in percent, and then it's got performance over 6 months. So these are very flexible. So you can add to these columns just by pressing this tab. If you do that, you've got all this other information you can add. My strategy or my mantra is keep things simple. I'll say it 100 times. Keep it simple. The issue is there's so much information available and it's easy to get lost, to get swamped. So half the battle is to keep things simple so that you can reproduce the same thing again and again and again. My basic screening process is this. 2 things really interest me. So I've got the price here. So the stocks that I go to are priced between $2 and $6 at the moment on this screener. So here we can go, if we click this, we can go down here and you can do a manual setup. And at the moment, the stock is between $2 and $6. There you go. It's that simple. Manual setup. And you've got all these other choices above 100, 10 to 100, 10 and below. It's pretty simple. Now, you might ask, why have you done that? Why are yours between 2 and 6? So it's to help you for the moment. So as we go through to develop our strategy and to practice with paper money, and then we use small amounts of money, we will have a small account. So we will only be using small amounts of money. So because of that, we don't want to buy the Amazons and the Teslas that are hundreds of dollars for a single share. We want to buy stocks that are cheap, not penny stocks because they're too volatile and the companies are not good quality. But if they're between 2 and 6, you tend to get a lot of volatility in those shares. So they go up and down, uh, but they're more likely to be bona fide companies. So when you're using a small account, maybe $1,000 or £1,000, you really want to use shares that are not that expensive so that you can buy more of them. So as a beginner with a small account, this is what I use at the moment. With this level, it will only screen out those prices that are within that price range. The second tab here that I've highlighted is the change in 1 week. So really in 1 week, I've chosen stocks that are greater than 10%. So what that means is they've shown a drop in greater than 10% over the last week. And why is that? It's because I tend to trade on the long, on the upswing. So I'm trying to catch the chart of the stocks at the bottom of a swing and then catch it on the way up. So if they've been going down for a week at 10%, it shows that they've been moving down, obviously for the last week at least. You could change that setting over a month or 2 months or 5 months, whatever you want. But just to give me choice, I leave it at 1 week for the moment. So in theory, that will present stocks that have been going down and have lost 10% within the last week. So they are my two criteria. It's that simple. Now, of course, I've been trading for a long time, so I have a lot of other nuances in that. But as a beginner trader, that will give you enough material to work with. So let's press the refresh button here. Over here is a refresh button. So let's press that. What this gives you is all these stocks. Now, there are many here. So that's all the stocks that are priced between $2 and $6 and changed -10 within 1 week. So there you go. So that's the first stage. It's screen the stocks down so you've got something to work with. So what then? So here comes the next phase, is that I will look at the performance in this week. So the next thing is then to sort these out in order. So I normally press the performance in 1 week. That's the first column I have, and sort ascending. And here you go. These are the price. So some of these stocks have dropped by 82%, 46%, 46% again, all the way down. So some of them have gone into profit. The ones that have gone into profit are at the bottom. So again, just to emphasize, I'm really looking at those at the moment that are going through a dip, and then I catch them going long. So I know some of you now will be screaming at the screen saying, yeah, but you can buy short as well. You can buy it when the stocks are going down, and you can. But and I do that. But with a small account, and in the UK, if you're using an ISA, you can only buy long. So if you're going to use this tax-free vehicle and trade within an ISA, that's for another video. I'll show you how to do that. Then really you can only buy long. But I have to say, it's good practice, so it's not a bad place to start. There's more than enough stocks to keep your interest up. Right, so let's go through this list. All these lovely stocks here. So these ones here with a D are OTC stocks, over-the-counter stocks. So they're a bit separate from the usual stock exchanges, so don't use those ones. But here we go, we got plenty to choose from. So how do I choose my stocks? I look at the ones on the performance per week, and then I go through them down and look at them individually down to about 20%. So I'll go down to about here. And that, just from experience, tends to give me some good candidates of those stocks that have been going down and might be on the upswing. Remember, I'm looking for this oscillation over time. So let's have a look, shall we? So the first one that I think, avoiding the OTC stocks here, is this one. It's dropped 46%. So let's open that. So if you right click on your button, and a list of options will come up, and you click Open Super Chart. Let's have a look at this stock. Now, this stock has just come up. So it doesn't look like there's that much data available on this stock. So it's going back to Wednesday, October the 25th. So it's been oscillating nicely. So there's not really enough history for me to work with here. So I will not be putting this stock on my watch list. Close that and it will take us back to the screener. And then we go down to the next one, IMG. So again, right click, open super chart, and let's have a look at this stock. So there you go. So what can we say about this stock? It's been trending downwards, that's true. I'm on the 4 hour here, but you can see overall it's been trending downwards. If I scroll back, it's on a downward trend. But again, there's not much oscillation here. It's peaked. There is a trend downwards, but it's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these large oscillations up and down. So it's not really for me, this stock. So that will not go on my watch list. So back we are again. And again, we'll do one more here. PHGE, it's dropped 38%. It's $2.69. This one's opened up on the 4 hour chart again. So this one's a bit more interesting. It looks like on this screen, it's in a bit of a downtrend. If I zoom out over time, you can see it's oscillated up and down. But again, it's sort of flatlining, ranging from here. There's no consistent swing. So again, this would not be a stock that I'm interested in. So I will close that down and move on. That's an OTC stock, OTC. Let's go on to BR. So we're down to 33 here, $3.84. Let's have a go at this one. Now, you can see this has got a weird history. It ranged for ages and has dropped completely. Now, some would say, okay, that's ready for a rebound. But again, there's not much data here. So my strategy, I'll bore you to death with it, is I'm looking for these nice, smooth oscillations, and it's not here. So that's out. Overall, that is how you do it. And I would keep going until I hit about 20%. Many people will say, but surely you could refine that further. And yes, you can. You can refine that much further. But here's the thing. At the beginning phase, it's so valuable to just spend time in front of the charts. So by looking at these charts individually, it takes about 10 minutes to look through these charts. I normally do it a few times a week. This will get you used to looking at the oscillations. It will get you used to looking at the candles, and it will get you more confident. And over time, you will become really confident in picking your stocks and then transferring them to the watch list. The whole point of this is to use it as an exercise to manually pick the chart so you get used to looking at the charts, and nothing can substitute for that, for spending hours looking at the chart. So take the time to do this. Once you become more experienced, then yes, we can feel free to refine this more, but this is a solid start of how to pick your stocks. Right, so we've cut going through this list. Let's just open another one, a random one here. And once again, this seems to be on a downward trend. There are some oscillations, but again, it's not this smooth oscillation I'm after. But it doesn't matter. For this exercise, let's just see how we would put it on our watch list. So let's say, you know what, we're interested in this stock. So what would you do after you've seen this chart? So what you would do is go back to the stock screener here. You could close this chart if you want, CNCK. And you're already on CNCK. So what you can do is put a tab on it and give it a color mark. I normally give it an orange for those that I'm interested in. And then right click. And in this tab, one of the options will be add to watch list. So if you press that and add to watch list, it would already be added. There it is, coin check. And if you go back to your charts on the different tab, it will still be there. And if you click on it, it will be there. So that is how you add stocks to your watch list. So you might ask how often I do that. How often do I check through those stocks? So it depends how many are on my watch list. I do like to keep it well populated. So I check those stocks at least 3 times a week, probably on a Sunday or Monday before the markets open, definitely. And then I'll track them probably on the Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then on a Thursday again. I don't normally hold trades over the weekend if I can help it, but sometimes I do, but rarely. So all this is to help you keep organized. So you've got all your stocks of interest in one place. And again, this is a good one. So I'm actually in on a trade on this at the moment. So you can see it, it's nice, oscillating. So one might expect, for example, that this might come up on the upturn. So at the moment, you probably won't have a strategy. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. Just get used to looking at the charts, add to your watch list, and play around with the paper account. And then after you've built your strategy, which is coming next, then we can move on to perhaps using a small account. Well, there was quite a lot there, but I hope that was useful for you. So in my previous videos, we've looked at expectations and risk. We've then moved on to look at the charting software. In this video, we've really looked at how to pick stocks. So in the next video, we move on to the real meat, is how to build your strategy. So building a strategy is pretty fundamental. So if you're a beginner and you want help in building a strategy, then the next video is really for you. So once again, thanks for watching. I hope you're really enjoying getting started on your trading journey. Don't forget to subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.